All right. All right. It's another episode of the Cultured Misfits podcast. I am djsilk, and this is different because I don't have either of my co-hosts today, but I do have a guest, and I have to say that if a Cultured Misfit was a person, yes,
Hello.
yes, if a Cultured Misfit was a person, this person, she embodies it, the spirit, the energy, and I love everything about her. And so I'm very happy to have Ashley here. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Oh, we're good. So she was gracious enough to come through on the interview tip. Actually, I wanted you last week because we did a whole episode about entertaining and parties and whatnot, because you are the party host of with the
Hostess with
most.
the mostest.
Yeah. So we actually knocked that episode out, but I'm gonna revisit some of the conversation
That's
because
okay.
I feel like people can learn a lot from you. Would you agree?
I would agree. Maybe. I don't know.
All right. Usually we do updates. People don't know you, so there is no update. Um,
They can get to know me.
they're gonna get to know you. All right. So why is Ashley here? Well, Ashley, you were what? First of all, is there anything that you want the audience to know about you? Like, how would you describe yourself to anyone? I know this. We didn't do any show prep for this. We're just off the
This is
cuff.
all off the cuff. How would I describe myself? I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit out there. Unique. You know,
Okay.
beat up my own drum.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All these things are true. If you go to our house, and you'll see, you have taxidermy all
I
over the
do, and
place.
they're all dressed up in different outfits.
Where did you get the taxidermy
I work at
from?
an auction house, so
Okay.
it comes through. I'll buy some of it there. I'll buy some of it. They used to be able to get it on Facebook Marketplace. They don't do that anymore.
For real?
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't do that anymore. But just here and there.
Okay. And so let's talk about the travel part before we go into the party
Sure.
thing, because you have traveled a lot.
I have
Yeah. So um since COVID, more travel or less?
less.
Less.
It's been difficult since COVID. Especially, I actually was traveling when COVID hit. So I was in Nepal, which is kind of the third world, and I was out on a trek, and it was like a 7-day trek. It was long, and it was in a very remote area, and we had gotten word that in America they were, it was happening. Like
Right.
you gotta get home, and we had gotten word that Nepal was shutting down all incoming and outgoing flights, nationally, internationally, the whole shebang that night.
Oh shit.
It was fucked up. So luckily, we were on the last day of the hike. We had to get a taxi all the way back. We had bus tickets to go back, at our leisure. We had to get a taxi cab all the way across the country, get back to Kathmandu, and the airport was a madhouse. They told me there was no tickets, any of the airlines. People was losing their shit like left and right, People was crying, everything. Flights was like $3,000.
Oh shit.
So I had to have my mom, Leah, everyone at home trying to go online and get me a flight from online because we couldn't get any in the airport. And luckily, Leah got me one of the last flights out. I think it was $2,300. Normally, it's like a $400, $500 flight. So I got out, but my buddy did not. So he was stuck there a whole extra month.
Are you serious?
And he said everything was shut down. Like there was no food. You couldn't go anywhere. It was just desolate. So he was like, he was living with a family, like staying at a homestay, and the family was giving him food and everything. But he was stuck. He was in it.
Wow.
And he had to go do a GoFundMe to get money to get home because the flights were so expensive. So yeah, it's been hard since COVID, and I didn't travel for a while after that because I was like, shit, this is traumatizing. I don't want that to happen again. This is expensive. And I travel on a budget. I don't make a lot of money, so we're doing everything cheap. I can't afford $2,300 flight home.
Right.
Come
right.
on now.
Wow. Okay. That's actually pretty traumatic. So, but before shit went left in Burma, Was did you were you
It
enjoy
wasn't
it?
Burma.
I mean,
It was
Nepal.
Nepal.
I'm sorry,
It
Nepal.
certainly wasn't Burma.
Okay, my fault. That quick it just went out of my head. So Nepal, how was the experience?
The experience was great. I want to go back. I want to go back to get to do what I didn't finish getting to do, which was another large hike. So I
Okay.
was actually thinking about trying to go back this year. When I was doing Nepal, my partner wasn't with me. I was with two other friends. My partner gets very bad altitude sickness,
Okay.
and I want to go back, but she'll be traveling with me this time. I'm kind of worried about her up there.
Don't do that to her. She doesn't deserve that.
You know what? She wants to do it, though. So I'm like, you're going to find out yourself. Let's see.
All right. So Nepal, what is that been the most exotic place that you traveled to so far, or what would you say?
Depends on what you mean by exotic. Everywhere is different.
Okay.
I mean, there's special things about, Europe is kind of similar to here, but, there's the same exoticism in South America as there would be in Southeast Asia. It's just a different culture.
Okay. All right. So in terms of exotic, I mean that it's a place that most people have never traveled to, would never even consider traveling
Sri
to.
Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
A funny story about Sri Lanka. So I live down the street from you, maybe
Right.
4 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a friend of mine that says, you would really like this guy. His name's Jose. You would really like this guy. He's just like you. He travels the world. He's a friend of mine. When you get back from wherever you are, I want you to meet him. You guys would totally kick it. And I'm like, word, that sounds great. He's like, here's his Facebook, get to talking. You're going to love this guy. So I messaged the guy. I'm like, hey, our mutual friend wants us to meet. Apparently, you're like my neighbor. You live right down the street. He was like, that'd be great. I love meeting other travelers. But right now, I'm away. I'm in Sri Lanka. And I'm like, bro, first of all, no one goes to Sri Lanka. No one even knows where Sri Lanka is. You ask your typical American, where's Sri Lanka? Everybody listening right now, they're like, I don't know where that is.
Right.
I'm like, I'm in Sri Lanka, bro. How serendipitous.
Right.
So I met the guy the next day, took a train. He was like 30 minutes away.
Fuck out of here.
That's what I'm saying. That was one of the crazier things that's happened to me. And we're still cool. You know what I mean? That's awesome. He lives right up the street.
Wow. Okay. All right. What's in Sri Lanka? Why would we go to Sri Lanka?
Why did we go to Sri Lanka? We went to Sri Lanka because when I buy a flight, I'll buy a one-way, and then I'll look online and see from where I am what the next cheapest place is to fly to. And that's kind of dictating where I'm going. So Sri Lanka was like a $40 flight from wherever I was. And I said, I guess I'm going to Sri Lanka.
Holy
So
shit. Okay.
that's how it kind of went down. It's like India's little cousin. And, I hadn't gone to India at that point yet. So it was a nice little introduction to the culture. And it was awesome. I don't know why more people don't go there.
Okay.
They got wild elephants in the street.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so why Sri Lanka? Why not? So that's
Why not? Exactly.
literally what that's about. Okay. Where is a place that you would never go back because you just had a not
Bad
great
experience?
Time? Yes.
I've had a bad experience places, but I would still go back. We had a pretty bad experience in India. We went during Holi, and it's you guys would kind of know it as the color throw, where they you know about the color throw.
Enlighten us, please.
So it's a holiday, and they have lots of vibrant colored chalks, powders, and everybody just they're throwing them. They're going crazy. Okay. Everybody's covered in paint and shit.
Okay.
So we went, but we're Westerners, and it was 3 of us women traveling, by ourselves, and we didn't really comprehend the amount of groping and kind of it was very traumatizing for the 2 people that I went with. I don't really look that womanly. No one's trying to grab my titties. Like, and I was still getting grabbed. I was like, damn, you're really going for it. But they got it much worse than I did. These 2, one was blonde, one was brown hair, both of them, very feminine. And both of them left, like crying. And it's traumatizing. And I feel bad because I feel like since I travel so much, it might have been, my duty to kind of research that more and let them know what's up. But I think also, do your own research to where you're going. And but I still carry some guilt about that. But
Uh,
all that said, I would still go back.
okay. All right. But so now I want to look that up to see if that's in like the brochure about
It's
like it's
definitely not
like
in the
gropey.
brochure.
Like you'll get groped if you're a
Yeah,
female, right?
but that's what it was,
So
unfortunately.
wow.
And that's not to say that everyone in that country is like that, because it's not. It's a
Oh
beautiful
no,
country,
no, no.
absolutely. It's just that was the experience we had. But you say, what did you go to and you would never go back? There's not a place I've been to really where I had an experience bad enough that I would write the whole country off.
Okay.
And I've had some shit happen.
Okay. Let's talk about some shit.
Some shit.
Right.
All right. So I was in Hong Kong once and I wanted to go to Vietnam. So I had my ticket to go to Vietnam. I'm all stoked about it. And I get to the airport and I go to check in. And the airport lady, takes my passport and everything. And she looks at me and she's like, okay, where's your visa?
Oh shit.
And my dumbass handed her my credit card. And she starts laughing at me. And I'm like, what's so funny? And she's like, nah, I need your paperwork. And I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't really look into this. So I got out of line. And, I had a couple hours before the flight because you're supposed to get there a little bit early. So I went on the internet and I was like, fastvietnamesevisa.com or some shit like that, And I found a company that was like willing to do it within, I think I got the visa within an hour. And I had to go down in the, the business room in the airport, print it out, whatever. It's on a piece of paper. And I was like, all right, I hope this works. So it worked. I got to get on the flight with this piece of paper. I get to Vietnam and I'm going through, customs. And I get in the custom line and this agent, where they're doing all the customs, it just has my name written on a piece of cardboard.
Oh shit.
And I was like, okay, well, that's me. That's definitely my name. And it's got a lot of letters in it. So I know it's me. So he took me and, he put a sticker in my shit and then walked me through. And I didn't really wait in line with the other people. But I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm good. Let's do this. So I'm, kicking it. I'm having a great time in Vietnam. I'm in Hoi An getting clothes made. And, I'm on boats seeing all sorts of beautiful shit. And then I go to leave. And go to Singapore. And I, turn in my passport to the airport agent to get on my flight. And she starts calling other agents over. And then they start calling over customs people. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? This ain't right. And it wound up being a fake visa. So I guess a guy in customs in Vietnam had this website running, was pocketing the money and just giving you, a sticker.
Bullshit,
bullshit sticker. So they take me, they cut my passport, my shit's gone. They take me into, holding, start asking me all this shit. And I'm just like, I'm mad.
Right.
Like, you're asking, I'm mad. I'm yelling, and they were basically like, nah, you can't go until you get a new passport. You have falsified legal documentation in your passport. This is invalid now. So they hold me, the rest of the day, asking me all sorts of shit. And then I wasn't allowed to leave the country until I got a new passport. It's during what's called Tet. It's Lunar New Year in Vietnam. Everything's closed. This is like the biggest holiday for them. Everything's closed. The embassy's closed.
Wow.
Everything's
The
closed.
U.S. Embassy is closed
U.S.
on their
Embassy,
holiday.
2 weeks.
Oh shit.
2 weeks.
Okay.
It's like it was unbelievable. So I was stuck there for 2 weeks. I missed all of my additional flights and everything, but I made the best of it. Like, I got to see way more of the country than I ever would have expected, and I made the most out of it. And then wound up finally getting a temporary passport sent over, and it was really cute. I had to have this letter written by the embassy. It was in Vietnamese. I would love to see what it actually says. I think I still have it, but it was basically, to my understanding, we're sorry about our American. She kind of fucked up. Please let her back.
Yo, for real.
Like, she oopsed,
Right.
We'll take responsibility for her. Let her come home. So they let it slide. But it was kind of traumatizing. I was like, I don't have a passport and I'm stuck in Vietnam. I got to call my job now and be like, I'm gonna be late.
Right.
Ugh. But here's the thing. I would still go back to Vietnam because that had nothing to do with the country. That had to do
No.
with people in the country being corrupt, and there's corrupt people everywhere. So what are you going to do?
Right,
You're not going to
right.
hold it against the country or the culture.
Okay. So now when you travel, I guess you're
I
like
make
looking up
sure I have a
visas
visa.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't even have thought about that.
Yeah, I
So
didn't either.
that is cool. So that's pretty harrowing of an experience. Yeah.
I've had a lot of experience. You know, that's one of them. But yeah, that's something that's going to give you a life lesson to do more research, as is the other example I gave you. Everything that happens to you, you're going to learn to not do it the next time. So goes
Okay.
life.
There, so goes. And fortunately, being in Vietnam, it's an inexpensive country. So
Absolutely.
like
It was great. Beer
yeah.
was a nickel. I'm probably exaggerating. It was probably more like a quarter, but beer was a quarter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So 2 weeks in Vietnam is actually you're saving money.
Was my lunch money here. Yeah, no. But yeah. Nah, but yeah.
Seriously, no, because people will repatriate to Vietnam with like, they'll go from being a thousandaire to like a millionaire.
Yeah, you got like a double-decker crib, 2 pools.
With servants. With servants. So, that's the upside to Vietnam. Okay. So how do you go about choosing like your destinations? Because like even I think it was like last month or a couple months ago, you like ended up with tickets, like passes to walk up State Park. And
I did what?
Yeah. I'm trying. Let me put the words together. Let me.
How long ago I did what?
I feel like it was a couple months ago. So all right. Full disclosure, I'm very terrible with the passage of time. Like time, I
so
function. I really
last year was
that.
last week.
Yeah, exactly.
I got
exactly.
you. I understand.
But you had tickets. You had gotten tickets to go on a hike or something in a state park.
It was it was called the Wonderland Trail, and it was in Mount Rainier.
Okay.
So over in Washington, and it was a long hike. I wound up not being able to do the hike. I wound up our flight. Me and my partner were on different flights. She actually got there, and my flight didn't make it. So it's terrible.
Lord,
I know. They had us on the tarmac for like 6 hours.
Holy shit!
I know. It was, and they got away with loopholes. It was terrible because they're supposed to give you money if you're waiting on the tarmac that long, but because they kept moving every 2 hours, they kept moving the plane back to the gate, so they could reset that timer. I'm like, you sly sons of bitches. But yeah, I didn't make it. I wound up getting the same flight the next day, but as the permits go, you're stationed at a certain camp each day. You have to get a certain mileage, and your permit is only good, for one night at each camp. So I would have had to catch up. I would have had to, I would have had, well, the thing is you can't just skip, because there's no road access to get to the next one. You have to start at a point and you have to get there by foot. So I wound up meeting them a ways in and doing sections with them, which was nice. I was also on a toe injury, so I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. I know.
The drama. There's always some shit with you.
It's always some shit. I know. My poor toe.
Is your toe okay now?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Good. Okay.
We still doing stuff.
He's still
we still walking.
Right. Well, toes are very important. They're very important to stability and to be able to do things, right?
Yeah, they are. I'm glad I have 10 of them.
You're blessed. You are blessed.
But look, you're asking me how, I pick what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I have a Google map, and I've had this Google map for probably 10 years now. And it looks pretty chaotic, but I know how to read it very well. It's got different colored, pins on it for different lists of things I want to do with my life. I call it my life map. And I have, a segment that's all hikes that I want to complete, in my life. I have a section that's all cultural events that I want to see. I have a section that is just overall cities I want to see, and they're all color coordinated. And as I do them, I change them all to orange so I can see that I've done them. And it's though it looks chaotic, to me it's very structured. And I try to knock a couple off the list every year.
Okay. So what do you have your eye set on for your next adventure?
I want to go back to Nepal and finish what I started.
Right, because
Yeah,
you didn't
I
finish.
didn't get
How
to.
how much how much time did you spend there before you
I
had
want
to
to say we were there for
evacuate?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And
A
how
week of
long?
which was the hike, and prior to that was acclimating.
Okay. How long were you supposed to remain there?
I think I was supposed to stay for another 2 or 3 weeks. We were
Okay.
going to do Everest Base Camp.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Everest.
not up it. I can't do that. No.
No.
I'm not in shape like that. But just to the base camp, which was I want to say like a 2 week ordeal, 12 days, 12 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
I encourage the audience to look up the dead bodies on Everest and on K2.
It's terrible. Well, K2 has I believe a 50% death rate if you try to summit.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. I would never try to summit any of these things. I'm not a mountaineer. I like to hike.
Well, so apparently Everest is the infrastructure is so established that it's basically a hike now. That's all right. So
It's a
let me back
traffic
up.
jam, is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's photos that's actually a very good documentary that just came out on Netflix. It's called 14 Peaks, and it documents and shows you what the traffic looks like going up to Everest now. It's just a standstill.
Yeah.
It looks like Disney World. It really does. It looks exactly like waiting in line to see Mickey with your kids.
Yeah. It's
Which is sad.
yeah,
Because they're not taking the waste with them. It's just really sad.
no, I mean, but the pictures of the bodies, the like, yeah, I think it's either Everest or it might be on K2 where
It's probably K2. It's much less trafficked.
it's well, because there's a certain point where if you die, it's so dangerous to remove the body. Like, so if you die, your body, you fall down, whatever, and what happens is your body freezes, and then eventually it calcifies or whatever, and then it becomes part of the mountain. So if you go on Google and type them dead bodies on like K2 or
Yeah, you're a
Everest,
statue now.
and you can see the bright colors of the snowsuit, like
Mhm.
you can see, and so you're stepping over these bodies as you're
See, I don't need
sinking.
that. I don't need it. I don't need to Google that. I don't need that. That's
I'm fascinated. So I took a leadership course at one point in my life, and one of the days we had a guy who climbed K2, and he said the first time he went, he never left the base camp because they were getting ready to start, and this guy who was higher up fell off the mountain, and just he landed in front of them, and
it was traumatized.
and his people, his team, but he wasn't traumatized by that. He was traumatized more because of the fact that his people that he was with didn't try to help the guy because he was still alive, and they were just like, fuck it, let's go. And in his mind, he was like, well, if something happens to me, they're not going
Fuck
to.
it, let's go.
Right,
That's
this is
exactly
left
what they're
behind.
gonna do.
Right, so he didn't. So he chose not to go. And then the second time when it was a couple years later, because to do this, he said it was like 2 years in the making, the planning and everything to make this happen. And then the second time he went, he said he was literally urinating blood. That's how grueling and stressful it was to get.
It's
to
the hardest. It's the hardest summit in the world.
Yeah. He did it though.
Yeah,
he did it. So
look, and some other guy didn't.
yeah,
You know what
a
I'm
lot
saying?
of people don't.
Yeah,
So,
half of them don't.
right. But he did say to see the curvature of the earth.
That's
Like,
wild.
right.
Yeah, that's wild.
To be that high up that you can see the curvature of the earth. And to do all that, and you're only up there for 15 minutes.
Not even.
Yeah.
A lot
'cause
of
then
the
you gotta
times,
go
not
back.
even.
Right.
Because you have such a limited supply of oxygen that you're
And
able
you
to
got to
carry.
turn
Yeah.
back around. So, all right. So you want to go back to Nepal. Where is the next place you want to go that you haven't visited yet?
Indonesia.
Okay. So what's in Indonesia for Ashley?
It just looks beautiful. And there's Mount Rinjani. It's Mount Rinjani is like a large, beautiful volcano that you're able to hike. It's like a 3-day hike. It's on my list.
It's on your list?
So
Okay.
I have one list that's like my primary list. It's like I think it was Explorer magazine's 50 best hikes in the world, and a long time ago I said this is going to be my list. It's how I started my little map.
Okay.
And I think so far maybe I've done 15 or so of them.
Okay.
like that. I'm on my way.
Yeah, no, that's cool. All right. So here's the important question, because we have people listening and they're watching and they're just, and you said earlier, you don't make a lot of money. So therefore, we have to talk about how you're able to finance these trips. Like, what are your
Sure.
trips? What are your tips and tricks and ways of operating so that you can make these things happen?
Everyone asks this, and it's really interesting because what you see on Facebook isn't really how we travel.
Lies. It's
The
all
pictures
lies.
look beautiful, but here's the thing: the nature is free to take a picture with.
Right.
I travel really budget. We've slept at airports on the floor. We've slept outside of train stations. We pretty much never pay for hotel. We use a service called couch surfing. It's an application, and basically it's kind of like I want to kind of compare it to eBay. There's hosts, and then there's surfers, and you are able to browse a city and see who's willing to host you. Click and see pictures of their living room or their bed or what the situation is you'll be living with. And you basically put in a request, and kind of the premises is kind of like a cultural exchange. So you want to always be offering something to your host that they can learn from. The most common one I'll encounter is people wanting to learn English. So you spend some time with them trying to teach them
dope.
English.
That's cool.
What I like to do more so, I love cooking, and I like to cook them a meal, that they might have otherwise never tried, something from my culture or something from another culture I've encountered. And oftentimes they'll return the favor, and I'll get to learn how to cook something from their culture. And then you've been to my house. I'd like to bring all of that knowledge home. And, every other week or every month, we'll do a cultural, we'll pick a country and we'll do an entire feast from that culture. So you guys here that don't, get to do what I do, get to learn about the food and the music, and basically, I think when you were at, what was it, Iranian?
Yes, it was, and the food was excellent.
Yeah.
It really was. It was great.
It's my favorite kind of food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love
All
it.
right.
But so that's a huge amount of money saved right there. Is getting to stay with people, and also you're learning so much more. You're with someone and experiencing life as it would be in that country, not from the travel industry where you would be put in a hotel and not necessarily meeting people and learning about the culture. So we always prefer to do that, and we save a lot of money that way. We don't really eat at restaurants. We grocery shop, since we'll have a kitchen accessible, since we stay with people and real families. There's very low costs. The hikes, especially some of the multi-day ones, are usually highly recommended that you go with a guide.
Right.
They can be upwards, $1,500 or so. I've seen.
But for a group, right?
That's
just
per person.
per person.
I mean, your rate will go down should you be in a group. And there's large groups that do them. But I always say I don't like going with a guide, especially if I feel it's something comfortable with and within my skill set. Leah and I consider us pretty strong hikers. We're self-sustainable. We know how to filter our own water. I know how to dehydrate my own meals, and I don't really need to necessarily rely on a guide. We have good map skills and GPS and everything. So being able to do some of those long hikes, say a 10-day hike, without paying $1,500, we can probably do it around $300 or so.
That is cool. So there's two ways to travel. There is the ways that most people assume luxury, right? Yeah. So hotels, you're just chilling out.
Most people here consider luxury, in America, luxury is the Ritz-Carlton. I consider luxury a hotel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different, we're different tiers of people here.
Yeah, yeah.
And we always try, everywhere we go, we'll splurge once. Everywhere we go, we'll get one nice hotel just to have the experience. We'll eat, one nice meal. Okay. We'll do something like that. Every city we try to have one, nice experience that we splurge on a little bit should funds allow. I do remote work, and I'm lucky enough to have that opportunity. And typically, I can, depending on what countries we're in, make enough that I'm able to sustain myself each month.
Each month
Yeah.
while you're traveling. Okay, so have you had any hosts that were crazy, scary, or just like damn,
In
you had to
all
get out of there?
honesty, not really. Because like I said, I kind of consider it almost like an eBay. You can read people's feedback.
Okay.
So anyone that's stayed with that person, you're going to be able to see exactly what they said. We had one guy that was very pushy. He was pushy on Leah. He wasn't pushy on me. He was a Turkish guy. We were in Cappadocia, and he just kept telling her how Turkish men make the good sex. And was very and in Turkey we can't say that we're
No,
together.
Right,
we don't want to give that impression in a country where I don't necessarily feel comfortable letting people know that. And so we didn't mention that, and he was very, very much trying to get her to come into bed with him, and she was like, this isn't happening.
Wow, he was shooting his shot.
He was shooting his shot, and you know what? That's okay, but it's not going to happen. And I never felt endangered or anything. I've never felt endangered with a host. There was one guy before where he did not let us know we would be sharing a bed with him.
Stop playing.
And we definitely did the toe to tail. So
you actually did share the bed with him?
Yeah, I did. I slept by his feet. But yeah, this was you know what? I was a different breed of human like 7 years ago too. Would I share the bed with him now?
No.
I'll splurge on the hotel, but you're talking about like young 20s me. Yeah, it's fine. It's cool.
You were wild.
We good. He was also, what was funny about him? He was like, help yourself to anything in the apartment. You want to eat? That's cool. Anything you want. And I was like, all right, cool. Because, it was kind of a remote area. I didn't really know where to get food. I don't know where we were. Bosnia or somewhere. I don't know. I don't speak that. But I was like, okay, I'm going to make a sandwich. He said I could. So I go in the fridge. The fridge is empty. There's a bottle of ketchup. And I'm just like, oh my God, dude. So I was like, I guess I'll make a cup of coffee. And I'm trying to make me and my partner at the time, a cup of coffee. And there's one spoon in the whole apartment. So but what? I can't come at him. He did offer me everything.
Ketchup and one spoon.
Ketchup and a
coffee,
spoon.
Water.
But that's what he had. Is it? You know what? That's what a lot of people here have when they're in college. You go to a male dormitory.
Well, actually, it's kind of beautiful because somebody with so little
is offering you everything.
Right.
Everything they have.
Yeah.
And, I don't think having to share a bed with him was he would have not made us do that were he to have other circumstances, but that's what he had. And he's still willing to put that up for somebody that needs it, which is admirable.
Actually, because, as awkward as it is for you, it's also for him.
And he wasn't creepy at all. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. It's just, this is what I have. And, if you're okay with it, come. And I, at that point, was okay with it.
That's dope. Wow. So, okay. So to be able to travel, so you're the experiential traveler where it's hikes, it's nature. You're off the beaten path.
Sure.
Which means that everything that you do is off the beaten path, which allows you to, in terms of you're not renting cars, the hotel.
Sometimes I do. It depends. There's certain things that are only, if there's something we have to do that's only accessible by car, and especially if it's a short trip, we will splurge on a car.
Okay.
But very rarely. Public transportation in most countries it works. Gotcha.
How about airfare? Do you have any secrets in terms of airfare? How do you get the best deals?
Skyscanner is great. I do it kind of untraditionally, like I was telling you. I will search wherever. I usually buy one way. I don't know when I'm going to come home. I'll figure it out later. But I'll search for whatever the cheapest country to get over the ocean is. Typically, it's London, Spain, usually Madrid, or Milan.
Okay.
And you'll fly there, and once you're there, even if you have no business in that place, you can take budget flights throughout Europe. So once you're there, there's a $12 flight to Hungary or Austria or pretty much anywhere you want to go within Europe for under $30. So at that point, you just pick a place and you're building your route structure. We never really have, when we go on extended trips, any set plans. It's very free flow and a lot of the time based on money. So if you see a $30 flight to Egypt, maybe seeing the pyramids don't sound that bad. That sound, we haven't done that yet. Let's go do that. And that's kind of the last large trip that I did and made it all the way around the world, was done in that manner. I had no idea where I was going to go, but where the fares were cheap is where it took me. And I got to see so many places that I never thought I would ever get to.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. But it's far cheaper doing it that way. Always just fly to the cheapest hub in Europe, and then Ryanair specifically and Wizz Air. There's lots of budget airlines that can get you anywhere within Europe very inexpensively. And then I know specifically Sofia in Bulgaria is very cheap to go internationally to other continents. So it's very easy to get. Usually, to get yourself to Asia would be Europe to India to Asia would be the cheapest route. But I would always rather spend less to get to where I want to go ultimately, of course, but B, if you had the option to go direct versus I get to have stop off points, for other places. I want to see the places typically. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's what makes your situation work, is because you're so open-minded.
Absolutely.
And you're
not structured, no rigid structure.
Okay.
There may be a set thing or two you want to do in each place. Say for example, I want to go to Europe because I have a hike in mind that it's a must do for me. So, we'll build a loose plan around that, and once that's done, you go with the flow. And that's how you really save money is going with the flow. Same with, figuring out where you're going to stay. I've definitely started sending out requests on this couch surfing program to people in different cities that we're all, if I'm centrally located here, let's send out to people and branch out kind of like a web, and we'll see who takes me. And, that's where you're going to wind up. So it's really, I like traveling that way because it's exciting.
How about hostels? Do you do hostels?
So I used to do hostels. I don't do hostels now, and it's very funny because you know me as someone that's very party. I'm really not like that in typical life. I like peace and quiet, and I often get very grumpy at hostels because people are very loud.
Yeah. So if you don't know what a hostel is, it's like a hotel, but it's like a dormitory.
With a party bar underneath of every single one of them.
Is there a party bar?
They're all like that.
Seriously?
It's 18-year-olds doing Jello shots until 5 a.m, and the walls are paper thin. And, when I was 18, that sounds wonderful. Even 22 still sounds pretty great. How old am I? I'm 32 now, I think. Yeah, I don't want that anymore. I want to go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, so just imagine a dormitory, like a prison, the barracks, bunks, like there's bunk beds and shit. So you don't really have any privacy, and there's just communal bathroom and right.
Yes,
pretty much.
I mean, and if you get lucky, there's sometimes like a private room within a hostel that you can get. But at that point, why aren't you just getting a hotel?
Right.
Unless you like the party atmosphere, which a lot of people do. But when I travel, I want to get things done. I want to see things. I want to wake up in the morning early. I don't want to be hungover. I don't go to a country to party because, quite honestly, I'm going to have a better time partying at my house because we throw a great party.
You do.
So I think it's kind of pointless if the goal of your travel is to go to another country to do the same drinking that you could be doing at home. I don't want to wake up in the morning and be hungover every morning of my trip and not get to enjoy the sightseeing and the culture and the nature and everything that I actually came there for.
Gotcha.
That, I wouldn't get to do if I spent the night drinking.
Speaking of drinking, because now you just reminded me, let's talk about your experience at Art Basel.
What about it?
How was it?
It's always great. We go every year. It's wonderful. It's all of the best art in the world, all in one place. It's quite overwhelming. It's a sensory overload. Every year we go, we spend one extra day. Like this time we were there, I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We still only saw maybe half of it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even get to, there was a furniture show I was really excited about. Didn't have time to do it. The tents are, I don't even comprehend how large these tents are. Like one tent usually takes us like 6 hours maybe to get through.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah. So we usually only do, one a day. And by the end of the day, you're just overloaded. And it's interesting because it's all of the best art. It's anything where if you were in a museum, you'd be standing in front of it and taking it in for 10 minutes. You're there, you're into it, but there's so much of it that you can't give it all the attention that it deserves because you're trying to get through it.
Oh.
So
nice.
It's difficult because you want to have more time to take it in, respect it, but you're never going to make your way through it all. And you definitely have the FOMO that you're gonna, miss something, but it's kind of comparable to, I always say when people are, doing a road trip, if you are trying to see so much so fast, are you really seeing it at all?
No, you're not.
Right. And that's kind of how it is with the art. If you're just blazing through it and you're not taking your time with it, you saw all of it, but did you see anything?
Gotcha. So probably what would be the best approach is you pick a discipline or a type of art, right? Like
you pick a tent. And
this is a tent.
I mean, well, the tents are, pretty much types of art. So
right, you just pick a tent, what you're into. So
right.
So the first year you go, if you're into whatever you're into, that's what you should focus your attention on.
There's one
to start with.
Right. Well, I mean, and you're allowed to be into multiple things. I really love contemporary furniture, and I also really love surrealist art. There's, focus on both of those things. But I would always recommend anyone that goes to Art Basel, first of all, go to it. It's incredible. You'll love it, even if you're not a lover of art. It's just an amazing experience. And I say stick to one tent a day and don't try to overdo yourself because by the end of the day, your brain is mush.
Gotcha. And so Art Basel is every year, beginning of December, right?
First weekend in December in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. South Beach and over the bridge in Miami proper.
Gotcha. All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about your parties. Right, so I know you guys after listening to her and her travels and like hiking and sleeping on people's couches and having ketchup sandwiches and shit, you would think like, can this girl really party? The first party I ever had experience that I had with Ashley was actually pretty traumatic for me.
Oh Jesus!
Not in them totally bad
They're
way.
all mildly traumatic for me.
Man, it was the party where one of our friends fell down the basement steps.
Oh, girl.
And when I say
I was
basement
young.
steps, when by basement steps, I mean literally the wooden
flight.
Your
grandma's house steps all the way down.
Onto concrete, and she got up like nothing happened. It was like a scene out of the movies.
I don't think she was there for it.
Yo,
I think she woke up bruised and broken, wondering what the fuck happened last night. She wasn't there for that because she stood right on up.
She fell down the steps. She fell down the steps. Oh my gosh, I will never forget that.
I remember all of our faces. We said, Because I was like, I got to figure out how we're going to, this was before Uber and Lyft and everything. I was like, I don't know how we're going to get her to the hospital. None of us can drive.
Yo, that shit was hilarious. And that was a wild party. I feel like orgies happened and all kinds of things happened.
Not at that one, I don't think, but they have.
It was in my mind, in my mind, if that was like a scene out of a 80s party movie. Everything that occurred in that was the first and last party that I went to, because I'm like, I'm too old and I can't handle. I just can't keep up with everything that was going on.
They were very cinematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very cinematic.
So you have your parties now when you're not out of the country and you're actually home.
It's true. Perhaps maybe once a quarter now. You know, we'll have like a
big party,
yes.
But you have people over a lot though, right?
I enjoy company on the weekends.
She enjoys company.
I enjoy company. So yeah, I like to throw parties for a number of reasons. The first being I love my friend group. I have such a strong support system with so many amazing people, and the interesting part about them is they all come from different paths in life. So I have, my friends from high school, still from, when I grew up in Sticks and Middletown was still Farmville, still have those friends. I've got, the bookworms from college. I've got, our Apple family from back when we worked together. Mm-hmm. A lot of those are still, my close people. I've got people I've met at parties. I got that whole gang. And bringing them together, they can form friendships where they never would have ever met each other, any other path of life except there. And I think that's really great to introduce people from kind of different realms to each other. And everyone that I allow in my house is in my opinion, a great person, or I wouldn't have them there. I love the company that I keep. So I love the opportunity to have everybody else meet each other. So
it is all love.
Yeah.
It's a loving environment.
It's only good vibes there. And if you're not, you out.
Let's talk about that.
Uh-huh. That's happened. Look, you know what? I'm for that. And you know how it very rarely happens. I want to say the whole time I've been in that house, I've had to kick maybe 4 people out.
All right. Let's talk kick out stories. What happened? If you don't mind, don't forget your safe word.
Aggressive. Nah, it's fine. I'll talk about it, and it should be talked about. Aggressive people. The main issue being is you have people that maybe are on the edge of your friendships, or maybe a friend brought a friend, and we're trusting that these people are the quality of friend that we want in our lives. So, and they may be when they walk in the door, but it's very hard to see when someone goes from having fun drinking to getting over the edge and being not fun anymore. And from that point being a risk. So, I've had people over my house that we have had a great time for years every time they come over, but if they drink too much, they're not the same person anymore. And that can be difficult to manage, because with so many people in my home, it's not my job to babysit anyone. You should be taking care of yourself and know your limits. Sometimes they don't. And, if the person you are when you are under the influence of anything is different than what we expect of you, as a friend, then I need you to not be here when you're that person.
Gotcha.
And that's happened. And I assume, I would think that happens everywhere.
Yeah, it does. I mean, so to kind of paint the picture of shindig at Ashley's house, there's always plenty of food, and there's always plenty of liquor. And I appreciate you so much, because you always break out the special shit when I come through. You always
That's
go in the
just for
cut.
you, baby. That's just for you.
Yo, seriously, straight up. She's like, yo, you want something to drink? You want something to drink? And she goes behind the cabinet, the secret thing, and she pulls it out.
The secret stash.
So it's always I always appreciate.
And you're always welcome.
Yes.
because you're always good company.
We have fun.
Sure
We
do.
do have fun. So you've had to remove people from the premises.
I've had to ask people to leave. You know, I think we've only actually had to remove someone maybe once.
Removal?
Yeah,
Seriously?
like they had to get taken out because they're drunk and aggressive, and I can't have that. I mean, I can't have people that trust me and are probably in a vulnerable situation sometimes in my home because they don't usually get like that. There's a lot of people that don't often drink and don't often go out, and they feel safe coming over because of it's always good vibes in the house. They feel safe letting loose and relaxing in a manner that they wouldn't outside of there, and they have to trust me to provide a healthy environment for them to do so. And if there's someone that is threatening that, you got to go.
You got it. Yeah.
And
true.
You're also, if you ever come back, I'm not going to, you got to earn my trust back. And if you ever do it again, you're never coming back.
So they get 2 times.
You get, you
well, actually, what? 1 time.
It depends. I've had, there's definitely been situations where, if I'm worried that, any women are in danger from you, the way you're acting, you're not coming back. You're not coming back in my life.
Right.
Now you're not coming back to my party. You're not coming back to my life.
There you go.
Because I don't need that, and nobody needs that.
No, it's not. And that's the key thing that you say. Like, you create an environment that's safe, like it's comfortable, it's safe, it's welcoming, and whatnot. So you can't have anybody fuck that vibe up. So
because that's on me. You know what? That's my house and the environment I create is an extension of myself. The parties are weird. The parties are wild. The parties are. Listen, here's the thing about when I throw a party. I want the party to be memorable. I want people to be able to think back and say, "God damn, that was a great time," and the shit was weird. So I love a good themed party. You know what I mean? Like, we've had Golden Girls themed party. Everybody's dressed up, like olds. We've had the weirdest one. We had. I don't even know how we come up with them sometimes. We had a Celine Dion Pickle party.
The fuck?
Right? Exactly. Okay. But, we listened to Celine Dion all night. We had pickled potluck. And everybody had a great time. Maybe, are you able to, like, put in pictures? Just pop a picture up on the podcast. I'm going to give you some pictures of the pickle party.
Yeah, send me some pictures.
I've had divorce parties for people. I've had, like... Make it memorable. Make it memorable, because if not, it's just another weekend you had.
Right. What's the favorite theme that you've done thus far?
My favorite party was one. I never get surprises. I usually figure them all out, and my partner threw me just an incredible surprise party. I like to cook, and I came home and she had made a MasterChef competition in the house. So she had 3 chefs that were in the house all competing. There was a judges station. I think me, my mom, and her were the judges. And people had donated food. People had donated organic meats from their farms. People were rolling out fresh pasta by hand. It was all timed. It was just like a real episode. And I thought that was incredible. I'll always remember that for the rest of my life. It was very special.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was super cool, and I was just floored because it's hard to surprise me, especially in my own home.
Right.
Yeah, in my own home. How did you get that together?
Okay.
I should have known something was up when she sent me out drinking. She said, "You know what? Why don't you go out, with your friends for a little bit?" I was like, "You never tell me to go out, but okay."
Right.
You don't want me going out without you? What?
Right. Okay. So, what is a theme party that you have yet to do that you want to do?
Oh, there's so many.
But all right, so you only have one party left in life to throw. What's that going to be?
Oh.
Yep.
That's a difficult question.
Yeah, it's a fun question though. Okay. 3. You got 3 parties
now
left.
I have to think 3 times over. It's even
so
harder.
Just the one.
We actually haven't. I know it's one that most people have done before, but I never got to do it, and I always enjoyed them in college, was the ABC parties.
Anything but clothes. You must be reading my mind because I was thinking about that.
They're so creative, and I just remember the first one I went to. My mom helped us all get dressed up, and my friend wore an IKEA bag, and I wore I think it was a cellophane dress, and my other friend wore a ShamWow, and she got hammered, and people were spilling beer, and she was like going on the floor, like laying down to soak it up.
That's funny.
So I would like to throw one of those, because I like seeing creativity. Yeah, I like people to embrace their creativity. I love costume parties. I love anything that gets people making things.
Anything but clothes party. That's ABC.
Yeah.
I actually was invited to one. This was like the beginning of COVID though. And I didn't go because
it's the beginning of COVID.
And the other thing was I had a lot going on, and I literally told my friend, I'm like, see, this is white people shit. Only white people have time to sit down and think about creating a costume. I don't have time for this shit. So if I can't just come in my regular clothes, I can't show up. So she laughed. She was like, you're right. And yeah.
I mean, I am white people, so
yeah, I
don't know what to say about that because I'm white people and I be thinking of shit. So
right. I mean, I think it's also easier for women in a lot and in a sense, right? Because
how?
Like actually, I was watching last night on Sex Lives of College Girls. It's on
I don't watch that.
It's actually it's a cute little show.
Okay.
It's on Cinemax. It's on HBO Cinemax. It's and it's about 4 girls during their first year in college. And the last episode they went to an ABC party, an anything but clothes party. And like so the one girl, the Indian girl, she wrapped herself in caution tape. She made a dress out of caution tape. You know what I'm saying? So
it's creative.
It's creative. I just as a male, like I don't know what I would do. Like I would need somebody to come.
You have less area to cover. You don't even have to think about how to make it into a full garment.
You're right. I mean, a loincloth, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like you only have to do half the work. I got to think how to make a whole, 2-piece couture outfit.
No, you could just cover the tape over the nipples and right.
No,
you don't have to cover
that's not fashionable.
Well, when are you throwing your ABC party?
I don't know. We gotta ask the boss. We gotta ask Miss Leah.
She'll be down.
Yeah, she's down. Leah likes to make it like a double theme. She'll like to throw a decade of music in there with the ABC. So she'll be like, baby, we can have an ABC, but it has to be ABC disco.
She's just making it more complicated.
Look, you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Anything for me to listen to Elton John, I'm here.
Well, just get on that. And I'll start.
I'll start planning.
I'll
start planning.
You
start planning your outfit, your loincloth.
I just assume, ABC party is just a precursor to an orgy, right?
That's not how that works.
Are you sure? You sure?
Yes.
Because the person that actually invited me to that ABC party, that's what was a precursor to an orgy. That was the other thing. Yeah, and that's what it ended up being.
That's okay. That's okay. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
listen,
not at all.
Anything can be a precursor to an orgy. That depends on the company you're keeping.
This is true. I just feel that people when costumes are involved, they become so much more sexually adventurous than they normally would be.
I guess you can consider it kind of role playing.
Right.
I don't know if I'm dressed up as Frankenstein, I don't want to fuck nobody more than
Ashley, when is the last time you went to a costume party, a Halloween party that's anybody was dressed up as Frankenstein or
people have been dressed up as not sexy shit.
Were they not sexy people though?
That's not necessarily that there's not necessarily that no, that it's not that. It's that look, I've never worn a sexy costume like in my adult life. Yeah, that's not true either, but right, most of them aren't. most of them aren't. You know, like usually there's multiple stages of Halloween. There's a couple weekends. There's the before Halloween. There's the after Halloween. Maybe we'll do, one, normal costume, and then we'll have a hoe night. That's okay.
The whole night, right?
But yeah, that to me, I guess we throw so many costume parties and theme parties at the house that I don't associate costumes at all with sex. You know what I mean? Maybe a typical person that's more along the line of thinking, but from the community I come from and the party community I come from, which is, like Burning Man type people, we're just weird. We dress up weird.
Yeah, so
it's not necessarily associated in any sexual context.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Halloween, and I'm just thinking about the Halloween parties that I've gone to, even when I'm working
you going to a different breed of party.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into. You know where you're going.
Well, even like when they would have the loops and things like that, or when I'm working, when I'm driving people around for dollars on Halloween weekend or the weekend before, and the women that I drop off into places in Philly, and I'm just like, wow, you're really going out dressed like that? Like that's your costume? Like, I mean, it's pretty risque and pretty sexually charged. So. But I'm speaking in general. You're different because you're a professional party person. Seriously.
I'm not a professional party person, but I can also say those girls in your car are definitely not coming to my house.
Oh, you'd want them to come to your house if you saw them.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying they're not on any mission to come to my house.
I don't know if they know about your parties. If I told them what was up, they'd be like, "Yo, I'm down. Let's go. Let's go."
All right, next Halloween then. Looks like we're gonna have some company.
So, all right, I'm gonna start collecting these women. So, no, but you should totally have an ABC party, and
we'll plan that out.
Yeah,
me and you're gonna help. Maybe you can DJ the ABC party.
I could.
You could.
I could do that.
It's in the works. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. No, I'm not mad at that. My birthday's next week. It's on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, that's not enough notice to, collect your
I
hose.
I wasn't even. I don't even know why that came out.
I'll cook you dinner. But
I appreciate that.
You don't even have enough time to gather your guest list.
No, I don't. What was it? There was a reason why I brought that up. No, I think I want to party this weekend, though.
That's what's up.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not.
There you go.
I'm going to be in bed.
Are you?
Yeah. Why? Listen, it's winter. You're
hibernating now?
I hibernate in the winter. I'm one of those winter sad people. I turn into a burrito and I don't want to get out until springtime.
Until it's about 9:30 Friday or Saturday night, and you're like, you know what? Somebody's going to come over, and then one person turns into three, and then next thing you know, you guys are
It's different this month because I'm not drinking this month.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I haven't done it in my adult life, so I want to show myself that I can.
Why don't you not drink for the month of January or February? Like, because think about it, it's the holidays. You got
right, but isn't that the time where you're tempted the most? So I should,
Well, okay, if you were alcoholic, then yes, we could use temptation would be the proper word to use. But you're not. You're not anywhere.
I'm not, but I drink. I drink to soothe social anxiety, so it's a challenge to not drink and still have company over.
That's some bullshit. February, shortest month of the year.
I'm gonna be gone.
So
I'm out. Easier. I told you I don't like winter, so that's when I practice escapism and run away.
I'm fucking with you. I'm all the way fucking with you. I wish you luck in your 30. You would pick a day of month with 31 days to decide not to drink over New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve,
look,
my birthday.
This shit really tastes like beer.
Partake Pale Brewing.
The name's kind of lame.
They're gonna have to cut a check.
This stuff right here.
No. Hold on.
This is it's corny.
No.
But look, it tastes good.
Whatever, yo.
If you have to.
Whatever,
if you want to.
If you want to. So you have these epic social gatherings, and I don't even want to actually call them parties. I think a better term for them, for what you do, what you offer up in your house is just gatherings, because like, yeah, like there's so much love, and there's more connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go to a party, there's not a lot of connection. Like you're there with people and you're drinking, you're dancing, you're whatever, but you can really be amongst strangers, even if you know everybody, because there's not a lot of interacting because
It's very superficial.
Right. But at your house, it's very, like, the lights are on. It's not dark. It's, it's
It
very
depends on
welcome.
what night you come. Like I definitely see what you're saying. We host dinners, we host gatherings, and we host parties. I just like to host. There's a differentiation between all three, but yeah, all three are they happen there, and they're all unique. There might be, a gathering where, yeah, the lights are on, we're kicking it. There's 10 people over.
Mm-hmm.
Or there might be 40 people over, and there's a DJ in the kitchen, and, there's a Vogue battle in the living room on the floor. You never know what's going down.
Yeah, look,
we had Soul Train once. That was great.
I have to admit that I did, like, when you invite me over, which is always like it's always the same time, 11:30 Saturday night.
I was gonna
Where
say,
are you at?
1 a.m. What are you doing? I'm that person. What are you doing?
It's like booty call text. I'm like, when am I going? It's like I'm waiting for one of these times for me to walk in and just everybody's naked and just doing shit.
Because no, Leah don't get down with that.
No.
Mm-mm.
Leah's not a.
Mm-mm.
No.
My little vanilla wafer.
She's like, yo, y'all take your nudity outside.
She's like, y'all take your nudity back home.
But I always wonder, like, there's this moment when I'm like walking to the door, like when I'm about to open the door, like, yeah, what am I going to see? What am I going to walk into?
It could be a number of things.
It is interesting, to say the least. What is your wildest party moment?
Oh man, this crazy shit happens. Like, I think I turned 21 and I was asleep. I think you were. You know what? You might have been there, and you might have left because this was late at night. But I don't know what was going on. There was like 3 people in my bed, and people came in, and then they shackled my feet with these fuzzy handcuffs. I have no clothes on. I was naked, and they took me out into the kitchen and made me do a naked keg stand with these cuffs on my feet. And then when I was done, they just put me back to bed.
Are you serious? This sounds like some Me Too shit almost. Like,
I'm telling you, it was very cinematic back in college. It really was. But yeah, there's all sorts of nonsense that's always happened. You look out the corner of your eye and you'll see something you're always gonna remember every time you're there. You know what I mean? It's just little tidbits, like y'all think back of it at each party. Like we threw I think not this birthday, but the last one, we threw a redneck party, and we had these big, me and Leah hand painted these big King of the Hill faces.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember coming outside and the DJ was playing in the backyard, and everybody had picked up the huge King of the Hill faces and we're just dancing with them. So you walk out and it's just all these dancing King of the Hill heads. It's always something. It's just little tidbits that you'll remember. And, there's no one craziest thing that's ever happened. It's just a lot of great, funny memories.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So pretty much open-mindedness, love, anything
Embrace
goes
your weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Judgment-free zone.
Judgment-free zone. Exactly. Because a lot of the people, not all my friends are wild. A lot of them is pretty straight-laced,
Yeah.
And they come out and you start to get them comfortable. And that's something I kind of preach, is being comfortable with yourself. And I think, I wouldn't identify as someone that's really career-oriented. I don't think I'm particularly super well skilled at any one thing. I think I'm well skilled at people, and I kind of take pride in that. And I just love helping people, embrace their identity and be able to, you know, not hold back.
Be their authentic selves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be the selves that they might be scared to be anywhere else.
No, that is probably the most beautiful aspect about you, is that you are truly judgment free, a judgment free person, in the way of you don't weaponize your judgment. You allow people to be who they are, and you don't make them feel bad or good about it either way. It's just like, look, I'm gonna let you be. And if for some reason it's not compatible with you, and you create distance, but you don't
But you're
make
still
anybody
welcome.
feel, yeah.
You're still welcome. I have people that I can think of that still come to the parties, but you know what? They stay in the other room, and they talk amongst themselves on the sofa, and that's okay. You're out because you know where else you might not even be out. Otherwise, you're probably gonna sit at home. So
Right.
at least, even though you're not out, being a social animal and a butterfly, you're out and you're talking to somebody on the couch. You're doing more than you would were you to not be here, most likely.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Ash, we are about to wrap this up. You've been a wonderful, wonderful guest.
Oh, thanks.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, listen. You're again, like, the whole purpose of this called podcast is to help people find new things about themselves, like to kind of awaken ideas, and kind of, I want everybody to live their best lives, and to get out of the ruts and, like, the habits, like, that most of us operate with. Like, we go through our day to day, we get up, we go to work, blah blah blah. There's a lot of routine.
Sure.
You don't have a normal routine, like, just even how you broke down your travel.
I mean, here's what I can tell you about that and why I do that. It's actually, it ties in very well to what you're saying. I, like many of us, struggle with depression. I I'm really bad with routine. When I fall into the mundane, I get down. I need constant stimulus in order to keep myself entertained and to keep myself out of my own head. So travel for me is a healthy form of escapism. It's much healthier than drinking or doing drugs, anything like that. And I still get to, in my eyes, kind of run away from myself and run away from my problems in my head, because I'm faced every day with constant new situations, new stimulus, things I've never experienced before, that it keeps me busy and preoccupied every day doing something that I'm not stuck in here.
Gotcha.
So to me, that is far more healthy than any other routes of kind of numbing what might be bothering me in my head.
Yeah. So we gotta tackle those things so that you don't have to be
Life
numb.
is tackling those things.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So, but I mean, like, the perspective that you've offered up, like, I would have never thought to travel the way that you travel. I don't know that if I could personally travel that way.
It's not for everyone.
Bougie. No,
it's not for everyone.
Like, my last trip to Miami, I did look on Vrbo and Airbnb, and at the end of the day, I'm like, nah, I need a hotel, because I need, maybe what it is. Actually, I know what it is. I don't travel enough to risk a bad time. You know what I
hear
mean?
that.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear that. And that's okay.
Yeah, if I travel,
it's special
more,
to you. It's
So I need to guarantee as much
your
of
comfort.
it as possible. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm glad I was able to figure that out right then and there on the spot. So, but I know there's people out there that do travel a lot, or they're looking for new ways to travel. And what you've laid out, the blueprint of how you travel is brilliant. It's wonderful. So hopefully you guys will take notes, and if you didn't take notes, you can just re-listen or re-watch this episode and kind of mimic what Ashley's done. Make sure you get your
little
visas.
Recap there. Skyscanner to find flights. Always a good place to go. Couch surfing if you're okay with meeting new people and staying with them. And if you get a Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card, that thing's great with travel. Really good card for travel. You can pretty much, if you want to stay at hotels and be bougie like yourself, you can wind up doing a lot of it on points.
There you go. So, yeah, using having a credit card with points and travel points is if you use that for your
extremely
everyday
beneficial.
purchase, yeah, you can do a lot. My thing is my Amex Platinum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fuck my Chase Sapphire Preserve then.
No, because those Centurion lounges in the airport are the shit. I had no idea, no clue. Like, you can get massages in those things for free.
Yeah, it sounds like I need an Amex.
Yeah, well, they're getting ready to, I think 2023, they're changing the limit. So before, if you had a platinum card, you could use you get access to the Centurion Lounge. And the Centurion Lounge, they feed you, and I mean, it's like chef food. It's everything. It's fancy. They have open bar, like Johnny Walker, Blue Label, all of that. And then, of course, the free Wi-Fi. They have TVs, a lounge. They have showers. They have nice bathrooms. They have massage. You can get a massage. All of that.
Look, I would be buying airplanes just to go to the lounge and then bounce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A massage at home, that shit's $100.
Right. So, but now they're changing it so that you have to spend at least $70,000 a year on your card.
Nope.
Otherwise, you pay. I think you pay like $50 to get into it. But for what you get, I'm like, $50 for what? Like, you get 2 Johnny Walker. That's
$50.
Right.
But you know what though? The card I have, the spend limit is not high at all. I don't even know if there is a spend limit. I think just once you qualify for the card and you have it, you get Priority Pass, which is access to most lounges, and it is free food and open bar. It's not in every lounge, the best food.
Right.
But you're still getting most of the benefits. You're getting the fast Wi-Fi, the food, the open bar.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, the Amex shit is just on a
different level. Yeah,
you're
getting a shiatsu and I'm getting a ham sandwich.
No, you're
a little different.
You're getting your thing, but I mean, unless my shit changes, I don't see myself spending $50 to get into the lounge, like just to. I mean, as nice as it is, I mean, it really is. It was
also depends on how long you're at the airport, though.
Right.
That's like if I'm at the airport for 4 hours.
Then it's what money worth. Yeah, it's money.
Yeah,
well
if I'm there for 20 minutes, no.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so you've really provided excellent travel advice, in terms of your mentality and your mantra, in terms of people in your home and entertaining, beautiful spirit, beautiful way of thinking, and actually applying how you feel and what you want, how you want people to feel in your house. Beautiful. So you have shared a lot. So thank you.
No problem. Again, thank you.
No, thank you for being you, Ashley. Before we close out, so I do this things that cultured people do. And I picked 2 things off of this list that I got online of things that quote unquote cultured people do. Right. So the first thing, know about cuts of meat. What do you think?
Yes. Come on now.
See,
yes.
She's cultured as hell.
No, man, uncultured people know about cuts of meat. Come on, man. Uncultured swine know about swine.
I don't think people do though. I think so there is a general knowledge of, okay, generally what meat, the different cuts, but then there's a whole other level to that, right?
If someone showed you a geographical map of a cow, would you be able to fill any of it in?
Some of it in.
I mean,
some of it.
I mean, I can't fill in, most countries in Africa on a map. So,
but I also think like, sirloin ground beef versus regular ground beef. Like I was in Target yesterday and was shopping.
There is no regular ground beef.
Well, they had. Listen, see, I feel attacked already.
Ground beef always come from somewhere. They don't just have a part of the cow called regular.
No, but so they they had sirloin, right, which was like almost double what the regular ground beef was, and it
They
actually
fucking
had it
with
set
you.
it right. I
They
mean,
put an
but
extra word in there.
sirloin, okay, I don't know. I mean, it was obviously it was from a better part of
Yeah.
the cow, right?
Right,
That
but
was the
it's
point,
ground. No, it's ground. It's gonna be a burger. No one knows.
right? Or spaghetti or
Yeah, whatever.
meatballs or whatever. But the point is, cultured people understand the different cuts of meat, like what's going to taste better based on how it's prepared, blah blah, et cetera, right? Or no?
I'm still gonna disagree that that's not just cultured people. That's anybody that knows how to cook.
Well, that's a cultured person because there's a lot of fucking people that don't know how to cook.
There's also a lot of people that never leave their hometown that know how to cook mean barbecue better than I'll ever be able to do it.
Yeah, but so this is a list. So this is on. These are
Keep
just
going,
pieces
keep
of
going,
thing,
keep
right?
going, keep going.
So Ashley does not agree about cultured people knowing about the different cuts.
Cultured
of meat.
people do know about the cuts of meat, but so everyone should know about the cuts of meat.
They should, but they don't.
All right.
Okay. All right. So then the other thing is they use chopsticks over a knife and a fork when they can, whenever possible.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Not whenever possible, but whenever the traditional way of eating the food would be with chopsticks, we're gonna eat it with chopsticks.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yes.
Right, but like here's the thing: I'm not gonna eat rice with chopsticks. Like get the fuck out of my face. I'm not gonna struggle. This is not worth my struggle. I'm not doing that. So maybe I'm uncultured, but I'm not gonna eat sushi with a fork, but I'm gonna eat the rice with a fork. So we pick and choose. We pick and
That's
choose.
funny. I actually have chopstick trauma. Shout out to Ms. Mon. She turned me on to Malaysian food like back in the day. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But I didn't know how to use the chopsticks. And
That's
so
embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, no, it wasn't embarrassing until she was really trying to take me to task about using them properly. So I was actually making it work, but it wasn't the proper.
I don't do it the proper way.
Because she's Malay, and I had so much anxiety and so much. I'm like, fuck it, just bring me a fork and a spoon, right? Yeah,
that's offensive in some places.
So she meant well. She is. I love Ms. Ms. is the person who, if you go to her city, she will show you that fucking city. Like she will make sure
natural guide.
She when she was living out in Oakland, I went to visit, and she was like, "Hey, you should go to San Francisco," because she was working from home, and so like I was like there during the day, and I'm like, I never in my life had any desire to see San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't care. I'm like, I don't. Never in my life I wanted to see it, and she made me go. Like she was like, "Let's go," and I was blown away how beautiful San Francisco is.
It always depends on whose eyes you see it through.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I love skylines. I love buildings. I love architecture. I love all those things. And San Francisco is just a beautiful city architecturally, and just all the hills and everything. But so if it wasn't for her, I would have been out in Oakland and never gone to San Francisco. But yeah, she traumatized me with the chopstick thing. And to this day, I'm like, I go to an Asian restaurant and I'm like, nah, ain't bring me a fork because I ain't fucking with them chopsticks.
So I'm not doing extra work to drop my food.
Nah, man. I think I'm going to work on that for 2022. That's going to be my thing.
You're going
to
be
get
more
proficient.
cultured.
I'm going to be more proficient with just chopsticks. I'm always working on being more cultured, but I definitely...
Chopsticks are like the stick shift of, eating utensils.
But I love driving stick. I love driving a manual transmission. There's nothing like it.
What about chopstick?
Corny ass. Corny. All right. So I'm going to shut this down because we've been here chopping it up. Just a reminder, I didn't remind you in the beginning of the episode, please subscribe, please like, please share, please rate however you're taking this podcast. Then you can follow me at djsilk, and all the links to everything that I do is you just click on the link in the bio and you will see everything. I don't know that Ashley wants y'all following her or bothering her. Do you, Ashley?
Maybe we'll figure that out on a new episode.
Okay. So, is there anything that you
I
want to
like
say
to
in
remain
closing?
mysterious.
You're mysterious as fuck. What is there anything that you want to close out with that you want to add? Say,
I
how
mean,
was how was your experience?
I
Was
had a
this
great
all right?
time. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Sure.
See, I have you back. I love it. I love collecting people for this shit. I love it. All right. So this is Cultured Misfits podcast. Until the next time, be safe, be well. I don't know if I'm gonna record anymore before the new year. So happy New Year. For those of you who are of Jewish faith, happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy birthday to me.
And happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, I was getting there. I was getting there. Well, see, this is why we say happy holidays, because it's just all encompassing, right?
The umbrella, yeah.
Yeah, it's respectful. Anyway, so close out this year right, start the new year right, and just be better and be kind to somebody just because you can. Okay. So I am DJ Silk, Cultured Misfits, and until the next time, be safe. We are out.